But I was really intrigued by this. So if you play a sport for a long time, very long time, and you become very wealthy and very successful, the continuing of playing the game has to be a love of the sport, right? I think we all agree that if you play, you have to have some sort of love of the game, right? You can't just be I'm here for the money guy, because once you get a certain amount of money, then you're automatically going to leave. If you continue to play, you have to love the sport. And I wanted to ask you this question because I think you're a very deep thinker. Like, why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I can get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. And if you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why I, at times, I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Hey, Aaron, isn't that interesting, though, that they always say you can't have a fear of failure? Like, I'm scared to death of failure. It makes me do, more things. Like, it makes me work a little harder, I think. Like, I hate that old adage, like, you can't be scared of failure. You got to go try it. I'm like, I agree, you got to go try it, but you should have a little healthy fear of failure.
You 100% should have a fear of failure and a fear of your job.
Yeah.
I think you should find a way to harness that. And to harness that, in my opinion, and I've said this many times, is a redefinition of what success actually is. Because success is not winning all the time, because that is damn near impossible. Success is knowing that you've done everything in your power, from a preparation standpoint, from a focus standpoint, from a performance standpoint, to achieve a win or success. And that it won't happen every time. It definitely won't happen every time. And I think our society sometimes glorifies that winning is the only thing. I mean, our one of our longtime coaches said, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. And I don't want to argue with the great Vince too much, but I think that is an unrealistic view, and often it can cripple people who view the opposite of winning as failure and then will never put themselves in that arena again and be willing to lay it all on the line, knowing that it might not be good enough. And I think that is true success, and that's what every great competitor does. They're willing to put in everything they got, knowing that some days it might not be good enough.
Man. Aaron. Hey, that was awesome. I want to let you know, thank you for that. I think I just became a better human. I wish I would have heard it before I went into the NFL. Maybe my first couple years wouldn't be as bad. Maybe the end would have been great, but I appreciate you for that.